Jack's Renner walked through the hot and silent desert market of Saurian, 3 with dust covering his boots. The place was almost empty, with only a few old traders sitting under weak shade cloths. Most of the items for sale were useless, broken, or rusted. But Jack's liked junk. He believed every old machine had a secret, and every strange object had a story. He stopped at a table full of scrap parts. The seller, an old man with metal goggles, watched him with a bored face. Jax picked up wires, gears, and panels, but nothing seemed interesting. Then something small caught his eye. It was a tiny metallic cube, no bigger than his fist, covered in faint lines like cracks or symbols. "How much for this?" Jax asked. The old man laughed. "That thing? 2 credits. It doesn't open. Doesn't work. No power. Probably cursed. Who cares?" Jax smiled a little. 2 credits was nothing. The cube was strange, and strange things always pulled him in. He paid the coins and slipped the cube into his bag. As he walked away, the old man called out, "Don't blame me when it does nothing." Jax just waved. When he reached his workshop at the edge of the market town, he placed a cube on his desk. His workshop was small but full of tools, lights, and old machines he collected. He liked being alone. Machines were easier to understand than people. He spun the cube in his hand. It felt warm, even though everything else in the desert was hot in a sharp way. This warmth felt soft, almost alive. Jax tried pressing the lines on the cube. Nothing happened. He tapped it, shook it, even held it under different tools, but it stayed silent. Maybe the old guy was right. Jax said he left the cube on the desk and went to fix a cooling engine for a delivery ship. But every time he walked past the cube, he felt like it was watching him. It was silly, he knew that. It was just a piece of metal. Still, he kept turning his head back toward it. That night, when the sky turned deep purple and twin moons rose over the desert, Jax lay in his small bed trying to sleep. The wind outside carried dust against the metal walls, creating a soft, scraping sound. Jax was almost asleep when a faint hum drifted through the air. He sat up. The sound was coming from his desk. Jax stood and walked slowly to the cube. The faint hum grew a little stronger. The cube was glowing. Only a little, just enough to show the hidden lines across its surface. Jax touched it with one finger. The cube warmed instantly, like it was answering him. The humming rose and then stopped. The glow vanished. "What was that?" he whispered. He held the cube in both hands. It felt different now, like it was awake. Jax spent the next hour trying to activate it again, but nothing happened. No glow, no hum. The cube stayed still and silent. When morning came, Jax took the cube outside while drinking water from a metal bottle. The desert was calm, only a soft breeze blowing across the sand. Jax sat on a rock and turned the cube in his hands again. "Why choose the middle of the night to wake up?" he muttered. He placed the cube on the ground. It didn't move. He tapped it with his boot. No change. He sighed and picked it up again. It was just a glitch. Old tech does that. But deep inside, he didn't believe that. Later that day, he carried the cube around the workshop while doing chores. Whenever he held it for more than a minute, he felt that same strange warmth. It wasn't heat like from a machine. It felt gentle, alive, curious. By evening, Jax was frustrated. He placed the cube on the workbench and stared at it like it was a puzzle he could solve by force of will alone. "I spent 2 credits on you," he said, "and I still have no idea what you are." As if answering him, the cube gave a tiny pulse of light. Just one soft blink. Jax froze. He didn't touch it this time. The cube continued to blink slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Jax stepped closer, and the light grew brighter. He moved a hand away, and it dimmed. "It reacts to me," he whispered. "But why?" He reached for his scanning tool, hoping to get some readings. But before he could turn it on, the cube stopped glowing. It returned to being lifeless metal. Jax groaned. "Come on, just work." No reaction. He placed both hands on the sides of the cube and leaned over it. "Okay, fine. I'll figure you out tomorrow." That night, he couldn't sleep well. His mind kept replaying the glow, the hum, the way the cube pulsed when he was close. He felt something strange, something he never felt about any other piece of scrap, a sense that the cube had chosen him. He knew how crazy that sounded, but the feeling wouldn't leave. In the early morning, before the sun rose, a strong sand wind shook his workshop. The metal walls trembled, and dust blew in through small cracks. Jax rushed to close the shutters. When he turned back toward his desk, he saw the cube glow again, stronger than before, almost like it was preparing itself. It hummed, louder this time, and lifted a few centimeters off the table. Jax's eyes widened. "Oh no, were you?" The cube spun slowly, its panels shifting like they were unlocking. Symbols glowed brightly across the metal surface. The cube faced Jax directly, and for the first time, it projected a small beam of light toward him. The light formed a single word in a language he didn't know, but somehow he understood it clearly. "Keeper." Jax stepped back, breath shaking. He didn't know what the word meant. He didn't know why the cube chose him. But he understood one thing very well. His 2-credit purchase was not simple scrap. It was the beginning of something far bigger than he ever imagined. The cube floated in the middle of Jax's workshop, spinning slowly like it was waking up from a long sleep. Its soft glow filled the room with bright lines of light that danced across the walls. Jax stood frozen, one hand gripping the edge of his workbench, unsure if he should run or stay still. He chose to stay. The cube tilted toward him, almost as if it was looking at him. The glowing symbols on its sides shifted, forming new shapes. Jax didn't know the symbols, but somehow they felt familiar, like something his mind understood instinctively. "Keeper," the cube said again, not with a voice, but through a gentle vibration in the air. Jax swallowed. "I don't know what that means," he whispered. "I'm not a keeper. I'm just a mechanic." The cube pulsed brighter, as if refusing his answer. Outside, the desert wind howled louder. Sand blew against the metal walls. But inside the workshop, the cube's strange energy felt calm and warm. Jax slowly stepped closer, one careful foot at a time. The cube's glow changed from bright white to soft gold when he neared it. "Okay," he whispered. "Show me something. Help me understand." The cube responded. Its panels shifted again, opening slightly like petals of a metal flower. A swirl of light escaped from inside, forming shapes. Tiny stars, line connecting them, and a map he had never seen before. Jax stared, mouth open. "That's not any star chart I know." The map rotated, zoomed in, and showed a desert planet. His planet. Then a symbol appeared above it. A warning sign, or maybe a signal. "Something's coming here?" Jax asked. The cube dimmed, as if surprised by his quick understanding. The map changed again. Jax saw a silhouette, big and winged. It looked like a dragon, long horns, a heavy tail, and glowing eyes. The creature hovered in front of the planet symbol. Jax blinked. "A dragon? Here." He laughed nervously. "That must be wrong. Dragons don't fly around the desert." The cube flashed a stronger light, like it was insisting. Then the image changed again. Jax saw himself, just a small shape, a tiny figure standing next to the dragon. The dragon's shape folded its wings around the small figure, almost protectively. Jax stumbled back. No way. You got the wrong person." The cube dropped slightly, as if disappointed. Jax sighed and rubbed his forehead. "Look, I fix engines. I fix cooling units. I'm not some hero who deals with giant winged monsters." The cube dimmed for a long moment. Then it glowed again, slow, firm, like it was giving him time to think. Jax watched the cube float gently to the center of the room. He didn't want to believe it, but the warmth in his chest told him this wasn't a mistake. Something had chosen him, something ancient. He walked beside the cube and opened the window shutters. The desert outside stretched silent and endless. Dawn was breaking, painting the sand with soft orange light. Jax took a long breath. He held the cube in both hands. "Fine," he said softly. "If something dangerous is coming here, I don't want people getting hurt. So I'll help, but you need to show me what to do." At his words, the cube brightened again, rising higher and spinning faster. Light burst out of it, warm, harmless light that wrapped around Jax like a soft wave. He felt his mind expand for a moment, like he was seeing more than his eyes could ever show him. He saw shapes, places, memories that weren't his. A giant cave filled with glowing crystals. A great dragon sleeping under mountains. A call for help, old and forgotten. Then the light faded, and Jax dropped to his knees. He had seen too much. The cube settled gently in front of him, as if asking if he was all right. Jax wiped his face. "You're showing me memories, your memories?" The cube blinked softly, the closest thing it had to a nod. "So you belong to someone. Or you did." Jax looked out at the desert again. "And now they're coming." He stood up slowly. His legs felt heavy, but his decision felt firm. He grabbed his bag, put in tools, water, and some food. Then he turned to the cube. "You want to go somewhere, right? Let me." The cube floated toward the door. Jax followed. Outside, the desert heat rose quickly, waves of warmth making the air shimmer. The cube drifted ahead with steady confidence, guiding him deeper into the open sands. Jax walked behind it, sweat already forming on his forehead. "Are we going to meet that dragon?" he asked. The cube pulsed lightly. Jax sighed. Figures. They walked for hours. The sun climbed high, turning the ground almost white. Jax kept wiping his forehead, but each time he looked at the cube, he found strength he didn't expect. After a long stretch of dry silence, the cube stopped suddenly. It hovered above a cracked stone platform half buried in sand. Jax knelt and wiped some sand off. Underneath the dust was old metal, shaped in strange patterns similar to the cube's symbols. "This is ancient tech," Jax whispered. "Older than the station. Older than any map." The cube lowered itself until it touched the platform. The ground trembled. Jax stumbled back as the platform split open with a soft hiss. A hidden staircase revealed itself, descending into darkness. Cold air rushed out, hitting Jax's face like a warning. He stared into the dark path. "You want to go down there?" The cube glowed brighter. Jax let out a slow breath. "All right, I'll trust you." He took his first step into the hidden passage. The cube floated at his side, lighting the way. Whatever waited down there, whatever creature or danger or mystery, Jax knew this was only the beginning. And something deep inside him whispered that his 2-credit purchase was about to change not only his life, but the entire desert itself. The deeper Jax walked into the underground passage, the colder the air became. The cube floated beside him, glowing softly so he could see the rough stone walls. The stairs went down for a long time, twisting left and right. Jax tried not to think about how far he was from the surface. He tried not to think about what might be waiting for him below. The tunnel finally opened into a huge chamber. The ceiling was so high that a small light barely reached it. Strange metal pillars stood in circles, covered in dust and old markings. In the center of the chamber was a large stone nest, cracked but still strong. Jax stopped walking. Something inside the nest was breathing. Slow, deep, heavy. Jax felt a chill run down his spine. "That's not small," he whispered to himself. The cube drifted forward and stopped above the nest, shining a brighter light. The light revealed long scales, dark like burnt gold, a pair of horns. A massive body curled tightly like it had been resting for many years. The creature's sides rose and fell with each breath. It was a dragon, a real one. Jax froze. His hands shook a little. He had seen pictures in old books and models in museums, but standing in front of a living dragon made those look like toys. This one was larger than any he imagined. Even curled up, it looked strong enough to crush a small ship. "Cube," Jax whispered, "you brought me to a sleeping dragon?" The cube pulsed calmly, as if everything was normal. Jax took a slow step forward. The ground echoed under his boots. The dragon's ear twitched. Jax stopped again, heart pounding. The dragon inhaled sharply, and sand moved across the floor from the rush of air. Then the dragon opened its eyes. Bright gold, sharp, a little confused, a little tired. Jax couldn't breathe for a moment. The dragon lifted its head slowly, dust falling from its scales. Its gaze moved to the cube first, then to Jax. The dragon's pupils narrowed as it studied him. Jax raised both hands slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, though his voice shook. "I'm just a mechanic. I don't even know why I'm here." The cube floated between them, and flashed a warm gold light. The dragon blinked, recognizing the cube, and let out a low rumble that made the floor vibrate. It wasn't angry. It sounded almost gentle. Jax looked at the cube. You belonged to the dragon, didn't you? The cube glowed again. The dragon shifted, stretching its wings slightly. Even that small movement filled the chamber with sound. Jax swallowed hard. He had never felt so small. The dragon lowered its head to Jax's level. Its breath was warm and smelled like old earth and fire. Jax felt his knees weaken. The dragon sniffed him once, twice. Then it let out a soft sound, almost like a sigh. You're thanking me? Jax asked, unsure. The dragon blinked slowly. It lifted one huge claw and tapped the stone floor gently. The cube floated down and rested in the dragon's palm. The dragon curled its claw around it, holding it like something precious. Jax finally breathed again. So you weren't lost, he said quietly. You were just waiting. The dragon looked at him again with steady golden eyes. Jax took a step forward, closer than he ever thought he would dare. The dragon didn't back away. Instead, it tilted its head, studying him with interest. Jax pointed at himself. Jax, he said. My name is Jax. The dragon blinked, then tapped its chest lightly with one claw. A soft sound escaped its throat, like a rumble mixed with a hiss. It repeated the sound twice. Jax listened carefully. That's your name? The dragon nodded once. Jax smiled nervously. Nice to meet you. He had no idea why he was treating this like a normal introduction, but the dragon seemed to appreciate it. It lowered its head again and lightly touched its nose to Jax's shoulder. The contact was warm, strong, and surprisingly gentle. Jax stood very still. A dragon was touching him. A creature most people never saw in their entire lives trusted him enough to get close. When the dragon pulled back, it stretched its wings fully for the first time. Dust exploded from the walls. The chamber shook a little. Jax stumbled back, eyes wide. The dragon was enormous when unfolded. Its wings almost reached the ceiling. The cube glowed brighter, reacting to the energy in the air. Jax looked around. Are you waking up for something? Or someone? The dragon's eyes turned sharp. It walked past Jax, the ground trembling under its weight. It reached a large metal door at the other end of the chamber. The door was covered in symbols that looked like stars and flames. The dragon placed its claw on the center. The entire door lit up and began to open. Jax shielded his eyes from the bright light. When the door finished opening, he stared in disbelief. Beyond the door was a huge tunnel leading upward, newer than the old chamber, built with smooth metal walls. The dragon turned back to him and gestured with its head. It wanted him to follow. Wait, Jax said quietly. You're leaving your hiding place? The dragon nodded once. To go where? Jax asked. Before Jax could understand, the cube projected an image in front of him. A desert, a distant storm, a shadow in the sky, large, fast, and heading straight toward their region. Jax felt his heart jump. Something was coming. Something dangerous. The dragon walked to him and lowered its head, as if asking to climb onto its back. Jax stared at the dragon, then at the image, then back at the dragon. His hand shook again, but not from fear this time. He stepped forward. You carried this burden alone for years, he said softly. Let's face it together. The dragon bowed lower. Jax climbed onto its back. The cube floated above them like a guiding star. Then the dragon stepped into the metal tunnel, wings folded tight, ready to rise again into a world that had forgotten it, and ready to protect the only human who had answered its call. The mountains around them were quiet, but inside, Zane felt a storm. He looked at the glowing girl, sitting near the fire. She stared at her hands like she was seeing them for the first time. Her skin had a soft shine, and her eyes were bright like burning embers. Zane sat down a little distance away. He did not know if she was dangerous. She looked human now, but she came out a giant egg. No normal human did that. The girl noticed him watching and tilted her head. You touched the seal, she said softly. That is why I woke up. Zane blinked. Seal? What seal? I was just checking the egg. I didn't do anything special. She shook her head. No, you did something. Only a chosen one can break the seal. It was placed by my mother before she died. Zane's heart jumped. Mother? Died? Seal? None of this made sense. Okay, who are you, and why was there a seal? She looked at the stars above them, as if searching for the right words. My name is Araya. I am a royal dragon, or I was. My true form is still weak. This human form is easier to hold right now. She closed her eyes. The seal was made to hide me. Many wanted me dead. Zane's eyes widened. A royal dragon? He had heard stories of dragons in old books, but never believed they were real. And now one was sitting next to him, speaking calmly, like it was normal. Araya continued. When my kingdom was attacked, my mother hid me in that egg. She used her last power to seal it. Only someone with a pure heart, someone with no greed, could break the seal. Zane let out a dry laugh. Pure heart? You picked the wrong guy. I bought your egg because I needed money. She smiled gently. Wanting money is not greed. Greed is when a person harms others to get what they want. You may be simple, but you are not greedy. Zane felt a little embarrassed. Nobody had ever called him pure before. But why me? There must be many better people. You touched the egg without fear, Araya said. Most humans would panic. You worried for me. That is why I woke. Zane remembered that moment. The egg shaking, the fire, the fear in his chest. But yes, he did worry. He thought someone inside might be hurt. Maybe she was right. Araya reached out her hand and placed it near the fire. The flames bent, almost bowing to her. Zane stared in amazement. You can control fire? Fire obeys dragons, she said calmly, especially royal ones. Zane felt a shiver down his spine. If she wanted, she could burn the whole desert, but she didn't. She sat quietly, warming her hands like a normal girl. Why were people hunting you? He asked. She lowered her eyes. Because the royal bloodline holds power. Power greater than any human kingdom. If an enemy kills a royal dragon, they gain a part of that power. Her voice trembled. My mother was killed for that. Zane clenched his fists. That was cruel. And now they want you? Araya nodded. If they learn I am awake, they will come. And they will not stop. Zane looked around nervously, as if soldiers might appear any second. So, what now? Do you have a plan? I need to regain my true strength, she said. But I cannot do it alone. I must bond with someone. Someone who woke me. Zane felt like he misheard. Bond? With me? No, no, no. I'm not a warrior. I fix engines and machines. I can't fight. You do not need to fight, Araya said with a calm smile. You only need to stay by my side. My power will grow as long as I am near the one who awakened me. Zane rubbed his forehead. This was too much. A dragon wanted him to stay close. A royal dragon. And enemies were probably searching for her. Araya must have sensed his panic. She gently touched his arm. Zane, I do not wish to bring danger to you. If you want, I can find another path. I will not force a bond. He looked at her hand, glowing faintly on his sleeve. She looked scared, not of enemies, but of him abandoning her. For someone who was supposed to be powerful, she looked very alone. Zane sighed. I don't understand everything. But I'm not leaving you alone in the desert. That's wrong. Araya's eyes softened. Thank you. He stood up and walked to the mountain edge, thinking. When he returned, Araya looked at him with curiosity. He sat down again. Tell me more about this seal, he said. She took a deep breath. The seal was not only a lock. It also held a message from my mother. When you broke it, I felt her final blessing. Her expression turned sad and warm at the same time. She knew I would be afraid. Her blessing told me to trust the one who awakened me. Zane's mouth fell open. Your mother told you to trust me? I'm just a mechanic. Araya smiled. A mechanic saved the dragon princess. That is not simple. Zane scratched his head, unsure what to say. Araya then pressed her hand to the ground. A soft circle of light appeared around her. The seal left something else, she whispered. A piece of my mother's power. The circle glowed brighter, and Zane backed away. Hey, what are you doing? Do not fear, she said. This power is for protection. The light rose and wrapped around her like a gentle shield. When it faded, a small golden mark appeared on her wrist. It looked like a dragon symbol. This mark means I am awakened, she explained. Those who hunt my kind may sense it soon. Zane swallowed hard. So we're in danger already? Yes, she said softly. But I trust you. He took a deep breath. Then we'll figure this out together. Araya smiled once more, and for the first time, she looked hopeful. In the quiet desert night, two unlikely partners sat by the fire. One human, one dragon in human form, bound by a seal broken by accident, and a destiny neither of them understood yet. But the adventure had only just begun. Zane woke before the sun rose. The sky was still dark blue, and the cold wind moved across the mountain. He sat up slowly and looked around. Araya was still sitting near the burnt firewood, her eyes closed as if she was listening to something far away. Zane watched her quietly. She looked calm, but he knew she was worried. The light mark on her wrist glowed softly even in the dark. It reminded him that danger was coming. He felt nervous, but at the same time, something inside him felt stronger. Maybe it was because she trusted him. Araya opened her eyes. You did not sleep much, she said gently. He shrugged. Hard to sleep, when people might come hunting you. She smiled sadly. They will come, but not yet. You have time. Time for what? He asked. To become my guardian. Zane froze. Guardian? Araya, I fix engines. I'm not a fighter. I don't even know how to hold a sword. You do not need a sword, she replied. A guardian is not always a warrior. A guardian is someone who stands beside the dragon, someone who gives strength. Zane frowned. I don't understand. Araya stood up and stepped closer. When I bond with someone, that person becomes connected to my power. Not to fight like a dragon, but to protect me in ways even fire cannot. Zane raised an eyebrow. What do you mean, connected? She placed her glowing hand over his chest. Your courage becomes my strength. My strength becomes your courage. We rise together. Zane felt warmth spread through him, gentle but strong. It almost felt like something inside him had been sleeping for years and was finally waking up. When Araya removed her hand, the warmth stayed. What was that? He whispered. A small piece of my power, she said. Only a guardian can carry it. Zane looked at his hands like they belonged to someone else. He didn't feel different on the outside, but inside he felt bigger, braver. I don't know if I can do this, he said quietly. You already did, Araya replied. You saved me. That was your first act as a guardian. Before he could answer, a loud rumbling noise echoed through the mountains. Zane jumped to his feet. What was that? Araya turned toward the sound, her eyes narrowing. They are not hunters. Something else is here. The rumble grew louder, and rocks began to slide down the slope. Zane grabbed Araya's arm. We need to move. They ran toward a safer area, but the noise grew, shaking the ground. Suddenly, a giant creature burst from behind a cliff. It looked like a stone wolf, its body made of rock and dust, its eyes glowing red like burning coal. Zane stared in shock. What is that thing? A sentinel. Araya whispered. A mountain guardian. They protect old lands. It must have sensed my awakening. The stone wolf growled, then charged. Zane pulled Araya back just in time. The wolf's rocky claws hit the ground, leaving deep marks. Dust exploded everywhere. Araya raised her hand, and flames rose like a shield, blocking the wolf. But the fire flickered weakly. Zane realized she wasn't fully strong yet. Araya, your fire is not working. I am still weak, she said through clenched teeth. The seal drained most of my strength. I cannot fight long. The wolf pushed against her fire shield, cracking it. Zane panicked. She couldn't fight this monster alone. He looked around, desperate for something. Anything. Then he remembered her words. My strength becomes your courage. He stepped beside her. What do I do? Araya looked at him, surprised. Stand with me? Zane placed his hand on her back. He felt that warm energy again, but stronger this time. flowing through both of them. The fire around Araya grew brighter, hotter, wilder. Araya gasped, "Zane, you're giving me strength." "Good, because that thing is huge." The wolf attacked again. Araya lifted her arms, and this time the fire burst like a wave, hitting the wolf's rocky body. The creature stumbled back, cracks appearing on its stone skin. But it didn't fall. It growled and came again. Zane felt the warm energy fading. He needed to give more. He closed his eyes and focused on his fear, turning it into courage. The warmth grew again. Araya's flames rose higher, wrapping around the wolf like burning chains. The wolf howled, struggling. Cracks spread all over its body. "Push, Zane!" Araya shouted. He pushed every bit of courage he had into her. The flames exploded. The stone wolf shattered into 1,000 pieces, falling like broken glass across the mountain. Zane collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. Araya also fell beside him, exhausted. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. Finally, Araya turned to him, her eyes wide with awe. You became my guardian today." Zane let out a weak laugh. "I thought I was going to die." She shook her head. "Guardians do not die easily. You have awakened a part of yourself." He looked at her. "Does that mean I have powers now?" "Not powers," she said, "but something better. You have a guardian's heart." Zane didn't fully understand, but he felt proud. For the first time in his life, he felt like he mattered. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was someone who helped save a dragon. Araya gently touched his hand. "Thank you, Zane. Without you, I would have fallen." He smiled tiredly. "We're a team now, right?" "Yes," she said softly. "A new guardian rises, and the world will soon feel it." The sun finally rose behind the mountains. Light spread over the desert, warm and soft. And as the day began, Zane and Araya stood together, stronger than before, and ready for whatever danger came next.